If you're a spa owner who wants to build a business that pays you well, runs without you, and grows with intention, then this is the podcast for you. Hey, I'm Amanda, a spa owner, esthetician, and spa consultant, and this is the SBA Business Podcast. Let's turn your spa into the business you always knew it could be with strategy, profit, and automation. Enjoy today's episode. Before I jump into today's episode, I want to share something that I am really excited about. This year, for the rest of 2026, I'm hosting live masterclasses twice a month, completely free, and I'm covering the exact things that I know spa owners are searching for help with. We're talking about how to hire your first esthetician, how to get more clients into your treatment rooms, how to raise your prices with confidence, and so much more. Each class is about an hour long, and I'll stick around at the end to answer any questions that you might have live. I do want you to know that if you come live, you'll get some extra fun little goodies. You can find the link to register right down below in the show notes or description. And you can also head over to my website, amandaluisaconsulting.com, and click on the really big button at the top that says Live Masterclass. And it will show you all the different class times and days and schedule. You can attend one or all of them. It's entirely free and entirely to be helpful for you. So I would love to see you there. All right, let's get into today's episode. Hello, spa owner. Welcome back to the podcast. Last time I gave you 3 things that you can start automating first in your spa. And today I want to completely flip that over to the other side. And honestly, it might be more important than the last episode. So I'm glad that you're tuning in. Just because something can be automated doesn't mean that it should be. And I think that we as consumers are getting so much smarter at figuring out when things are not actually real. In the world of AI, I definitely think that there is something like ethical AI. I definitely believe AI should be used as a tool, but I do not think that it should be completely taking over a job for you. It should enhance and allow you to do your job like 10 times faster, yes, but it should not be what is actually doing the job, if that makes sense. So some parts of your business are exactly where the human touch is the whole point, right? Your facials, your waxes, your lashes, all those things, right? You cannot automate those. You have to still be able to save some time somehow without losing something far more important later on, which is trust. So today, the 3 places that I would tell you to keep your hands on the client or on your business, no matter how tempting the shortcut seems. Okay, the first thing, oh man, I have beef with this. Okay, the first thing is the first conversation with a new client. When somebody first ever finds you and they reach out to you for the first time, there is no greater turnoff than having some type of automated thing that pops up like, hi, we're not here right now, but you can, text the spa phone and this inbox isn't monitored. I mean, what a shutoff. It is. Like, I would much rather wait a couple hours or even a whole 24 hours, a whole day to hear from someone than to get that. Because I'm like, what else is going to be a robot? And while I understand, I have a spa, I have a consulting business. I know how useful AI is. But there are certain things that should not be taken over by artificial intelligence. So the very first real conversation with a new client, if that's a consultation call, an intake chat, or just like the first few minutes of the appointment, that is not the place for anything that is automated or templated. This is where someone decides if they're going to trust you with their skin and their face, their money, their time going forward, all the things, right? So think about it as like the difference between a new client getting an automatic welcome sequence that reads like it's written for anyone versus an owner or a team member who is actually asking what brought her in, what has she tried before, what's frustrated her, from past experiences, whether it's at your spa or not. So the same information can still be collected, but one makes it feel like the person, the esthetician, cares, right? And the other makes the client feel like you're just a dollar sign. And although money is important, don't get me wrong, but making money is a side effect of doing a good job. That first impression will set the tone for the entire relationship, and it's not really something that you get a second chance to redo. So take a look at the new client's first reaction with your business and ask yourself honestly, does this feel personal and customized and warm and authentic, or does it feel kind of like automated and cold and just general for anyone? So if it's the second one, then that's worth looking into with a human inside of it. And don't get me wrong, you can still have some things that are automated, but at the right times, not at that very first interaction. Okay, the next thing is recognizing and developing your team. I think it's really easy to overlook this because business is hard. Okay. If it was easy, everyone would be doing it. Everyone would be successful at it. But when you try to make so many SOPs, which is a standard operating procedure, if you try to do that for every single thing and then you just expect the person to know how to do everything after that, you're going to have a high turnover of your team. So yes, they can watch the SOPs, they can watch the protocols, but they need to actually be doing them, practicing. You should be watching them. You should be critiquing and giving feedback. You are the person that needs to be doing it, not some type of a course platform that is dripping the content to the esthetician slowly over the course of their 90-day onboarding. It's kind of easy to overlook this because a lot of people are, especially the longer you're in business, a lot of people are wanting to find a way to hire more and train less. And I totally get it. I'm literally onboarding new employees right now as we speak. And it is hard. It is so hard, but there should be strategy behind it that is not automated, because it requires high touch, just like they will need to have the high touch for the client. And so you need to be able to show them that in person and not just through a video that gets automatically released to them once they're hired on. And then also things like celebrating your team. You don't just want something to automatically go out every single year on their birthday or on their work anniversary with like some generic template, but instead, have that handwritten note and, make your team feel seen and heard, like they're valued and not just something that a template from Canva can completely convey. It's just it goes so much deeper and it's so much more authentic when it comes from the heart. And yes, there are things that you can automate, like maybe you can call the local flower shop that sends, like one of my I used to work for an incredible woman who always put so much thought and time into her gifts that she gave people, and she knew that I love plants, and she sent me a grafted lemon tree, and it was like the most incredible thing, and it was just so heartfelt, right? That's not something that you can just like call up a flower shop. Even though I love flowers, I feel like she took it a step farther and gave me a lemon tree. It was incredible. And I think that these are the kinds of things, those should not be automated. Could you call a flower shop and be like, hey, every year on this day, I need you to send these flowers to whoever? And yes, you could do that. But it should come already with the strategy and system in place that you have set up. And it should not feel cold or generic. This can also kind of go twofold in that you don't want to, when you're giving your team member feedback, you don't want it to just be like this cold template, right? Or a form. You want it to be genuine and compassionate and kind, but specific and clear. So the employee can take some great feedback and get better at their skill, whatever that may be. So you don't want to automate this thing. I mean, imagine getting something in an email or whatever team communication app that you use. Imagine getting something in there that says, "Hi, Amanda, a client said they didn't like their brows," which to my knowledge, no one has said that, but let's say someone did. And I just received this form that says a client left a bad review, or a client said this negative feedback, and now you're expected to improve on it. That would not go over as well as something that was sat down and talked about in person. So that's the second thing. And the third thing is a client complaint. If a client reaches out to you, they have some kind of a complaint, there should not be some type of automated message that they get like, "Hey, we got your message and we'll respond within 24 to 48 hours. It's canned, and you basically just told her in one of the scariest moments. Whenever we did receive something like that, it was typically because something was going wrong. They were having an adverse reaction. Typically that is, this was before we came up with a really good protocol for a full set of lash extensions on someone who's never had lashes before. There was someone who, her eyes started to swell because she was having an allergic reaction. I think everybody's been there at one point, but now we have a system in place to make sure that that person does not have a bad reaction. And to literally not be able to see, and you get this canned message, she just becomes a number, right? And compared to a real person that's calling her within the hour, letting her know, "Hey, I'm so sorry that this happened. Please, obviously you can come in, or maybe the spa is closed and we can," that might be more of an extreme case, but you can almost reassure the client. So after a chemical peel, if they feel like their face is really, really tight, okay, make sure you're doubling up on your moisturizer. You can just call the client and reassure her that what she is feeling is normal, and then ask questions to reassure her that what you're feeling is normal and it's going to pass. This is part of the process. Same thing, if you are primarily a waxing studio, then it can, maybe a client is starting to experience ingrown hairs. Okay, let's talk about how to avoid those and how to get your, to make sure that doesn't happen again in the future, right? So these are the kinds of things that there are ways to avoid this. And then there are also things that sometimes they just don't always happen. You're not always able to talk to the client in the moment and let them know, "Hey, if you get ingrowns, here's, an ingrown bump bar of soap or a spray or a cream or a whatever that you have in your space." And it can be really scary for the client, and to just have this automated message sent at them "This is not what I need right now. What I need is reassurance and support and help." And so sometimes what can happen is people will go to another spa and try and get, their problem fixed, when it should be something that we should, as a human, be able to respond to fast enough. And sometimes they do get missed. I totally get it. I'm talking about the things that are within your realm of control. If it's, a Sunday and you are closed on Sundays, or, Monday, which is typical, then that is something that a lot of clients will do. They will go to another spa to get their problem solved and fixed. And oftentimes that other spa will win that client over. And so what you want to do is make sure that they're in the best hands possible. Everything is going to be okay. Here's our solution to things. Even something as simple as, like, I got a chemical peel and it's starting to flake or peel. It's getting really itchy. What do I do? And so people will be left if you don't respond. And I understand that the automated message is going to help them with like knowing where you're at the time. Like if it's midnight, obviously you're going to be asleep. But if there is a message that is sent out automatically, it shouldn't be just like a placeholder. It should be authentic and real, and just let them know we're going to get to them first thing when we get back in at 8:30 in the morning when we come back into the spa. So like there's a lot of ways to go around this and make sure that you are authentically keeping the clients well taken care of and responding fast enough. A lot of places, or a lot of people, clients specifically, will they will go somewhere else if they don't get a response within 7 minutes. 7 minutes. That's bananas and wild. So as much as it would be tempting to just have an automated message like that, it is even better to see if you can respond even within 10 minutes. Have somebody at your front desk that is constantly checking or keeping the window open so that you can respond as fast as possible. And sometimes these things can't happen within 7 minutes. That's okay. But if we can keep things as human as possible, that would be ideal. So those are the 3 things that I would recommend that you keep firmly human as much as possible. And try to see if you start to notice a pattern. These are all moments where someone is deciding whether or not they're going to trust you. And that trust is one thing that automation cannot create. So that wraps up this episode for this week. I hope that you enjoyed it. Let me know your thoughts. And until next time, keep building something beautiful and boring. If you enjoyed this episode, then you'll really enjoy my free training where I show you the exact system that I use in my own spa to pay myself more. Head on over to amandaluisaconsulting.com/more to download today. I'll see you next week on the SBA Business Podcast.